Hello. See if this is working. Okay, I believe it is. Hello there. What accent is she going to use today? You might be, not that one. That one would be too hard to keep up. Anyway, so hi, it is Regina. That is my name. I think it's important that you note that this webinar is happening in my kitchen, hence the butternut squash. It's the best lighting in here. But anyway, maybe I should move that out of frame. No more butternut squash. Okay. Anyway, so we are talking today about 10 ways to make your brand stand out, okay? So I recently released this, which is 75 ways to help your brand stand out. And this is a free ebook that you can choose to print off or just check it out on your tablet or computer. It's a free ebook that I created for my email friends. And you can become one if you're not already by signing up at byregina.com/emails, plural with an S. So anyway, so this ebook is going out to my email friends. And what I've done is picked 10 of the ways inside of the ebook that you can really stand out, help your brand stand out, make your brand stand out. And what I want to do is expand on those and show you some actual resources and stuff like that online to really help your brand stand out. And what I want to do just briefly, so this is kind of like an informal webinar. You should see off on the right side of your screen or the bottom side. The bottom is not a side, but anyway, the bottom side of your screen or the right side, you should be able to ask questions. If you are unable to, for some reason, you can tweet me and I will try and keep Twitter up over here, but you should be able to ask questions directly into this frame situation here. Anyway, so 10 ways to help your brand stand out. To get started, what I want to do is just tell this super duper quick story to see if some of you can relate to this, and then we'll get into the material, and I have like a little accompanying worksheet and all of that good stuff to go with it, okay? So my very, very brief story is very related, as you'll soon see. So I used to have a car. I had this car for 10 years, you guys. And it got in an accident, and it was all banged up in the front, and I never got it fixed because I guess even with insurance it was going to be ridiculous. And then I let my friend borrow it, and she kind of scraped it up a little bit. And so anyway, my car was banged up in the front, banged on the side, and I honestly, it's just so embarrassing now that I'm thinking about it. I drove that car around for like 8 years like that, because that happened like 2 years after I got it. So driving around this banged up car, and this is the point of all of this. So anyway, what I noticed as the time went on, I stopped washing my car, stopped taking it to get washed. I stopped cleaning out the inside of it. This just sounds like I'm a horrible and unclean person. But anyway, I just realized that I wasn't maintaining my car at all. It was ridiculous. And it was because I didn't really like the way it looked and what it presented. And so I wasn't taking care of it. And so anyway, this drunk driver, broad daylight, totaled my car for me. And I remember actually thinking that this guy did me a favor. I wasn't hurt. And he did me a favor because I had been carrying around this junk that I didn't want to modify or improve because I didn't like the way it looked and I didn't like what it was saying to me or speaking of me, I guess. And my point is that sometimes we do that with our brands. I don't know if you guys have ever kind of built a brand and maybe you released some content you weren't, too proud of, but it was decent. I know I've done this with previous brands, and you kind of just let cobwebs. You don't really like your logo. You don't really like, what your about page is like, all of this stuff. Anyway, and you just kind of leave it sit there. And I feel like we treat our brand sometimes like I treated my 2004 Dodge Stratus. And I want us to actually total it, total our brand, or do the work it needs to actually repair it and really have something that fits you. And so these 10 tips that I'm going to go through today are about building brands that fit you and that stand out. And I see Jenny is over here with some tips. If you don't see where to ask questions, click the square of squares next to your profile photo. Choose Q&A. Thank you, Jenny. So that is how you would ask a question. So anyway, all right, so let's get going. So 10 ways to help your brand stand out, to make your brand stand out. So the first thing you're going to want to do, I'm going to screen share so I can show this to you, is download the worksheet that comes, it's like a worksheet, I guess, that comes with the, whatchamacallit, this presentation. What is this thing called? So anyway, you'll get to that by going to byregina.com/webinar worksheets. Okay. So if you didn't see that before the call/video, that's where this is. Okay. So webinar worksheets, byregina.com/webinar worksheets. And what you'll see is that I have this digital document here. You can either print it out or you can save a copy of it or just copy this to your own document and take notes digitally, okay? So I'm in Google Docs. If you go to this link, it's gonna take you to this document. So anyway, so let's start with our tips, okay? So my first tip of how to make your brand stand out is going to be to actually consider crowdfunding something. This could even be a collaboration. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what crowdfunding is, there are multiple sites that you can do this from. One of the main ones is Kickstarter.com. And so basically crowdfunding is a place where you can come create a project and set an amount that you want to raise and raise funds for it. And it can either be tech, or it can be your music, or it can be a book. And so I actually just drew up 2 examples from people here in Austin who've successfully crowdfunded their project. So this is a couple here in Austin. The gentleman is a illustrator and I believe writer, and his wife is the wife is the writer and he's the illustrator. And so anyway, they wrote this book together. And then they listed it on Kickstarter as a crowdfunding project. And what it is you can choose different amounts that you can do for your awards here. So if people back your project, then they get this reward that you have selected. And you can see that this couple they raised over $10,000 for their book project. And then this is another girl here in Austin who I know who wrote her own book called Be Your Own Boyfriend. And she too did a Kickstarter project, a little video to kind of let people know about what she was doing, different prizes, and you can see she raised $11,000. Now you don't necessarily need to try and raise that amount. Your projects could be for much less than, thousands and thousands of dollars. But anyway, the point about your crowdfunding is that it actually helps your brand stand out because it really does build brand awareness. There are random weird internet people like me who actually just go on Kickstarter and find cool new projects to fund, but you can also promote it. And I really have found that with people who do really successful programs, it is a great way to get your friends and your family rallying around your new brand or your new project. Because like, for example, right now, I already have a brand established, but let's say, I don't know, I wanted to do something like create a book. I can actually create a Kickstarter just for my book. So even if you already have a brand going, I found that people really get behind you and get excited about your stuff. Anytime any of my friends release a Kickstarter, I get so excited, even if it's a business that they've had for a few years. Because it's like something new and I can, give $10 or $45 or whatever and really support their dreams. So that's always super exciting. So anyway, I'd highly recommend checking that out as a type of thing to kind of just raise awareness, around your brand. And I'm going to screen share again and get people excited about your brand, okay? So my examples on this sheet, I have the links here if you want to go check those out at another time. But you can crowdfund, again, anything. It doesn't have to be a book. It can be actually your entire business. I've funded everything from like Italian restaurants to, Sherlock Holmes in Spanish and English to help you learn while you read. So you can do a lot. So my number two recommendation is to separate out your social media contacts. And here is why. So I will use the example of Twitter and Twitter lists, okay? So Twitter lists are obviously lists that you can keep of different Twitter users, and they can either be private, like my list, peers to RT, peers to retweet, or they can be public, people who make me laugh, people who have useful tweets, identity designers I love, so on and so forth. The reason I really recommend separating out your social media contacts is because it serves many different purposes. So in Google Plus, when you do this, it's called adding people to circles. So earlier today, when I set out an invitation for this webinar, I had circles that allowed me to invite certain people. So if I only want to invite people who have purchased my Grow Your Blog Traffic with Social Media, then I could easily select that. Or I could do everyone that I have met through my blog or through, whatever it is. So doing these circles can really help you target people when it comes time to sharing on social media. Same with Twitter lists. So if I just really want all my favorite people to retweet, I can just click on this list and come in here and see what, you know, people I love have been tweeting and just easily retweet them. It just, I guess it kind of just narrows down, or, you know, eliminates the amount of time that you're working. Some lists that I really recommend you creating are lists that are of your clients of certain products. If you sell multiple different products, maybe the clients of certain ones, or people who you think are potential clients, people in specific time zones. So I have a Twitter list for Australia because they're 16 hours ahead, most of my Australian friends. And so, you know, if I'm awake at random times, which I never am all the time, then I can just pull up that Twitter list and tweet with my cool Australian peeps. What's up if you're watching? Hi, Jess. That's like the one person who said she was watching from Australia. Anyway, so time zones would be helpful list. Your support network, if you just have that key group of people who is always just really helpful and really supportive of getting the word out about stuff, make a list of them. And then I would honestly recommend creating a list like the one I had, which is like peers that you want to retweet. When you just want to share really good information, make that list of those 10 people who you know every single time they tweet something, it's very useful, okay? So I'm seeing some stuff over here on the side. Y'all are sharing links. Perfect. Thank you so much. Anyway, so remember, you can totally ask questions at any given time there. Now, my third tip is going to be to take an expanded ideal audience survey. And so I'm going to screen share again to get there. And basically what this survey is, and this is, I'm stealing this from one of my classes, okay, so don't tell them. But anyway, on this thing, on this, our sheet, you'll see one for men and one for women, okay? And once you pull it up, it's gonna be something like this. This survey is just, it's 5 pages. It's a longer version of if you've ever read the post on my blog about doing your ideal readers, figuring out your ideal readers. This is just a longer version of that questionnaire. So these are all questions about your ideal readers or about your ideal clients, just depending on what it is that you're doing. Okay, so again, there's one for men, one for women, depending on who your ideal clients are. So I really recommend taking that, and I think this will help your brand stand out because it's so good every single time that you sit down to tweet or create a new resource or create a blog post or whatever it is you're doing, create a new product. I think it's so amazing to have that person in mind. I would literally pull up that survey, like print it out, fill it out, and have that survey with you whenever you are creating something for your audience. I think it's an amazing way to just have that person in mind. What I like to do is actually even name my ideal client or my ideal reader, just so I can, you know, be talking to them. It's a real person, okay? Her name may or may not be Tabitha, whatever. I just like that name. Is anyone named Tabitha? Tweet me if that's your name. That would be so cool. Anyway, so name the person and really get to know them, okay? So my fourth recommendation for helping your brand stand out is to actually join a Twitter chat, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I really just did not take these things very seriously at first when I first heard about them. So we're on number 4 here. If you've just join a Twitter chat. So I didn't take these things seriously, but what I've done is pulled up my favorite Twitter chat here, okay? It's called Create Lounge. It's run by this wonderful lady here, this top tweet here, Kayla, okay? So she runs this awesome Twitter chat, and what it is basically a ton of people who are all on Twitter at the same time talking about the same thing. Typically, the host of the chat, which is Kayla, will come up with a topic. Usually they're weekly. They don't have to be weekly, but they'll come up with a topic, and then you'll see all of these people. So since I pulled this up, there are 679 new results. So you can see a lot of people have used this hashtag. But anyway, so people are using this hashtag and they're having conversations based on certain things. And what you'll typically find is that the person will ask specific questions. They'll ask Q1, Q2, Q3, and this whole conversation will happen around this specific topic. So you can search for Twitter chats in your genre, if you will. You can search for Twitter chats for creatives, for bloggers, for certain types of bloggers. You want to join Twitter chats where your peers are, and then also Twitter chats where your audience might be. I will say, honestly, again, I did not believe in the power of these things, but you make so many good connections. So it's about long-term clients, long-term friends. You're gonna increase your follower numbers by just getting into the Twitter chat and participating and really interacting with people as you see them using this hashtag. And that's all you have to do really is kind of just keep that hashtag up, keep a search of that hashtag up during the Twitter chat and just see what people are saying about it, okay? I'm so serious, you guys. Did not believe in them. They are real. They really help. It's so great to connect with people via Twitter. So I would definitely check those out. And if you are looking for some, I would literally just Google, you know, best Twitter chats for XYZ. And then, anyway, and then kind of pull it up from there. I'm sorry, I'm reading y'all's comments over here on the right, and some of you are making me laugh. Okay, anyway, so keep in mind, you can ask questions whenever you want. So next point that I want to actually go into is back on our spreadsheet. Excuse me, I don't even know why I called it a spreadsheet because I'm nervous, whatever, I'm just talking. Okay, so it's not a spreadsheet, it's our worksheet. So number 5, develop longer content. So I'm not saying all of your posts need to be super long like mine are, don't judge me, but let me tell you why it's not a bad thing to have really long content, even if you know people aren't all the way interested in super long content sometimes. Because this is what happens. No matter what, for the most part, if somebody lands on your post, so this is one of the longest posts on my site, okay? This is how to write a blog business plan, okay? With Muhammad Ali. Anyway, that song just gets me so hyped. You should totally listen to that if you haven't. But anyway, the reason it's not a bad problem is because no matter what, no matter how long your post is, whether it's super long like this one or short, people usually scan at first. And they scan because they want to figure out, is it worth their time to read? Now, when you have a longer post, it actually takes people longer to scan. So if somebody came to this and they were like, I don't know if I want to commit to her post or not, they might kind of scroll down. And the reason long posts are good is because you have more chances to put in images and to put in little quotes and pictures and headings. And so eventually somebody's going to be scanning and they're going to stop and go, oh wait, hey, I do want to learn about blog monetization or whatever it may be. Because literally, and tell me, you know, raise your hand, digital hand, if you've done this, you've probably landed on a post and done just this to make sure you want to read it. You've kind of read some of the, you know, main points, and if you like what it's talking about, you read through the entire point. So that's why it's not a bad idea to have longer content. Also, the main reason you want to do this is because Google actually shows a lot of love and a lot of preference to long form content. If you were to go right now and search something like blog business plan, and I really do think that one of the reasons that this post has gotten, you know, on the first page of the results here, this is my post from my site, is because it is a longer post and it really goes into detail to answer the, you know, the question of how to develop a blog business plan. So number 5, to really stand out and amaze your audience, develop longer content. Number 6 here that I have is something I totally believe in. Ask for stuff and then make it really simple for people to help you with it. And this is what I mean by that. So I have 3 examples for you. So you can kind of incorporate this however you want to, but my first example is click to tweet, okay? So you can have a post going on, here's how to do stuff, oh my gosh, this is so cool, whatever, and then bam, have this kind of image in here that's like, click to tweet this and get your friends excited about whatever. So you're actually kind of, in one sense, being bossy and giving instructions. You're asking for something. But typically, if people like the way you've worded things, or you know, you're giving people a reason to do what you're asking, they're going to go ahead and go along with you, especially if they like you and they're getting something out of your content. So my number 1 recommendation in this area is click to tweet, and it's at clicktotweet.com. And so basically, if somebody just clicks on this image, it allows them to tweet out the exact phrase that you know I had in there. So you go to clicktotweet.com, you load in the exact phrase that you want people to add in or to tweet, and then add it to your post. I like to add mine with images to kind of make them stand out a little bit. So anyway, that is my one top tip right there as far as what you can do to make it really simple for people to help you. So ask for stuff, click to tweet. Another thing that I would do, so my second point here, would be to just ask people to vote for things on social media. One of the things that I found was it's funny, it like worked so well, I didn't mean to, I just really needed help, was one day on Facebook, I put the cover, like, pretend like this is the cover, I put the cover of 3 different blog post images, main blog post images, and I asked people, hey, which one would you like to see next? And I was really literally just asking because I spend like 16 hours writing my posts sometimes. And so I just wanted to see which one do people want to see next. And it was funny because people were so helpful. And I've seen other entrepreneurs do the same thing. Erica Madden over at Olivia.co, she's one of my favorites. She does something similar where she asks people like, what do you want to see next? And people are very, 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 very inclined to help you. And people also love the people that they help. You know, have you ever just helped somebody, you gave them a pencil or a piece of gum in time of need or whatever, and you just love that person for some reason? I don't know, you just feel like you owe me your life now. I gave you that piece of gum. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's kind of how I feel. Anyway, moving on. So people love to help. And so I really recommend just asking for it sometimes. And then the last thing I would ask or add to point number 6 in ask for stuff is to ask for people's specific expertise. So on Twitter, instead of just, you know, sending out this general comment like, hey, does anyone know resources for XYZ? You know, tag one person or maybe 2 people if you think it's necessary to tag them together or whatever, and ask like, hey, so-and-so, I know you're really great with this, or I know you are the expert in such and such topic. Could you help me with this? Or what do you think is this? What's the best resource for that? What would you do in this situation? Ask for people's specific expertise. This really helps your brand stand out because people love when their expertise is being called upon to help you. So this can really help you stand out. And if it's someone who doesn't follow you, typically they'll check you out, answer your question, check your profile out, and possibly follow you back or add you to a list and kind of be aware of who you are and what you do. I feel devoted to people who ask me questions like I owe them my life now. So anyway, so yes, so I would recommend just asking specific people questions if you have questions. And if you want them to maybe take notice of a specific resource or something that you've got going on, I definitely would do that, okay? So let me screen share again. For number 7, which number 7 is going to be create a content plan. Actually, let me not screen share because I want to show you something. Number 7 is create a content plan for the next 3 to 6 months. And don't only include your blog content, okay? So I want you to include a few additional things, and let me tell you what they are. So this is where I personally, and you can use any tool. This does not have to be my tool. This is what I use, and I'm going to show you what I mean here. So creating a content calendar for the next 3 to 6 months. So this is typically how I recommend it happening, okay? So whether you're doing this in this Epic blog planner or something else. So first off, I would take a look at the next few months. So this is blank right now, but anyway, take a look at the next few months. And what I like to do is assign themes for the month or specific goals. So you would write out your next 3 months, March, April, May, and then put a theme to it. Spring cleaning, you know, whatever. So just for the 3 months, just things that you think your audience would be interested in or themes that you could really develop content around. Anyway, so you write out your themes for 3 months. Or 3 to 6 months, and then what you do, especially in this book, this is how I've designed it, is you would then plan out all the types of content that you want to do. So you'd put up your theme here. So I'm going to say spring cleaning for your business. You'd put your theme up here and write down all the topics that you can think of that go under that title. Okay, but not only blog post content. I also would really recommend you developing email content that matches your theme, products that match your theme, and then also any collaborations or sponsored posts. So just idea dump after you've thought of a theme or a goal for the month. Once you're done idea dumping, you can kind of put it into a logical order, and that is just the calendar pages. And again, you can use any document. It doesn't have to be this one, but you're able to kind of you put your month up here, March, whatever the theme is, spring cleaning for your business, and then write out all of your topics on the date that they belong. And that would be, again, your blog posts, your emails, any products that you want to release, whether they're free or paid, and then also any kind of collaborations or sponsored posts that you might be doing. So that is how I would make a content plan for 3 to 6 months. Okay, so I'm seeing some questions. Oh my gosh, people, y'all are hilarious. Okay, anyway, how often should I be tweeting? I don't want to pronounce your name incorrectly, but it looks like Sethlina. If I pronounce that incorrectly, it's okay. You can hate tweet me on Twitter. I'm sorry. But anyway, how often should I be tweeting is a great question. And answer that question, I really recommend multiple times per day. As many of you know, Twitter is a timeline type platform. So the most recent tweet in the world is going to be at the very top, or the most recent tweet among people you follow is going to be at the very top. And then it's going to go down from there. So if you are only tweeting tweeting once in a day or once in a week, oh, the horror, then people are probably not going to see your content. So I recommend really tweeting multiple times per day. And we're going to actually talk in one brief second about some stuff that you can be tweeting out. And so I'm trying to get to any other questions. Twitter chats move so fast. How in the world do you make any sense of them? That's such a good question from Jenny Kyles. So I would like to tell you, first off, Kalita, in answer to your question, that chat is always at 7 p.m. Central Time on Wednesdays. That's the Create Lounge chat that I showed you. But in order to answer your question, Jenny Kyles, you really aren't going to see all the tweets in a Twitter chat, you guys. You're kind of just going to be trying to keep as much going on as possible. So again, I usually just have it pulled up in a separate feed. If you use a service like Hootsuite or something like that, you can have a hashtag that you search and you keep in a specific feed. And so anytime that hashtag is used, it just updates. So you'll see most of the tweets. You're not going to see all of them. They do move really fast. You just kind of have to answer questions, favorite things, reply to people, and just keep it moving for an hour. You can take breaks, you can step away from it. But anyway, that's definitely what I would try and do to kind of grow my Twitter following. And then I have another question here from Lisa Elliott. Do you recommend joining a Twitter chat versus starting one, or should we start one too? Love that question, Lisa. So I feel like, and maybe Kayla will even hop in and answer that since she started Create Lounge. But I felt like if you see a hole in the market, so to speak, of Twitter chats, it's a great idea just to start one. You could even collaborate on it so that it's not just you. That could be something that you do with one or two other bloggers. That would totally make sense. But if you see something that's really not being addressed at Twitter chats, or you just want to have one for a specific type of person or a specific topic all the time, I say it's a great idea to start your own, and I would totally promote it by visiting current Twitter chats that are happening, visiting people who actually participate in Twitter chats similar to your own, and really connect with them on a genuine level, not a creepy "hey, I have a Twitter chat too" level, but on a just genuine level, tweeting back and forth with them. Okay. So anyway, great questions, and I'm going to screen share again and really briefly and get back to our notes. Okay, so we're on our document. We just went through how to create a content plan for the next 3 to 6 months. Don't only include blog content. Next point, I say all the time, create blog post templates and social media templates. My new obsession for this is brianrobertthompson.com/blog. I love the way he makes his images on his blog and on social media and all of that good stuff. And so I'll just say that he has a few of the great features that I would really recommend. So three things I recommend is maybe using 2 different fonts. So he has 2 different fonts going on here. He's also included some kind of unique element, this little ribbon type thing. And then he's thrown his logo on his image. I really recommend doing that. I'd recommend adding your URL as well. If at all possible, if you can make that look cute, because there's just a consistency that goes on when you have your images like that. You're always using these same kind of fonts. The image maybe has the same style, and he's got logo / name, whatever it may be on his images. So I highly recommend creating blog post templates. It's going to save you a lot of time, and it's going to really, really, really help for consistency purposes and people kind of recognizing your brand on Pinterest and on the different social media platforms, okay? So that's number 8, to really make your brand stand out. Number 9, spend a day buffering out blog posts, products, and content from other people. So the reason I like buffer and am using it like a verb is because if I'm on somebody's site, so, oh no, don't worry, Kayla, I don't stalk you or anything, and share your Twitter chat and read your site all the time. But anyway, if I'm on Kayla's site and I'm on this post that I really like, why you should share your competitors' content, I like buffer because I can install it as an extension in Chrome, and as soon as I hit that, it's going to actually pull up this screen that allows me to either hook it up with Twitter, Google+, Facebook. I could even have LinkedIn in here. And I'm easily able to just change this around if I don't like, the wording of it or whatever. Change it around, add some custom content. I would probably tag the person whose post it is or whatever in here, you know, via, you know, Kayla, or by this genius Kayla or whatever. You can make this custom tweet, and then you can either add it to your queue, which is just a schedule of posts that go out when you say to, or you can share it in the moment, or you can just schedule it. So I could say, man, I want that to go out, you know, at such and such time, such and such date, and then press schedule. So sorry, Kayla, that's going to go out at 5 in the morning. But anyway, so that's why I love Buffer. So I could just be reading through some of my peers' work, and I could easily buffer it like that. The other thing I like about Buffer is if you see something that you like that somebody said, and you're in Twitter, instead of retweeting them in the moment, you might go ahead and just hit your add to buffer button, and then you could either change it to a quote or just schedule a retweet at a later time. So this comes in handy when you're checking Twitter at 1 in the morning and you don't want to retweet at a time that's not beneficial to you. That's a really great tool, and that's why I love Buffer so much, because you can schedule those retweets like that, okay? So I would spend a day buffering out blog posts, products, and content from other people, not just yourself. And then number 10 is take some workations, and I'm going to answer questions after this. Take some workations, and let me explain. I said here are 2 things you might try, and then listed 3. Okay, anyway, don't judge me, okay? Here are 3 things you might try. A blog post audit. So this is something that you could do. So what I have here is a Google sheet of all my blog posts ever, okay? And so what you could do here is you could write out your blog post, maybe how many pins, how many comments, the type of post it is, and then what I like to do is make notes. If people seem to identify with a certain post, and then what I do is I kind of have my own grading system for my posts, and you won't see many, so what I do is I'll typically go back and either try and change posts that are C minuses in my grading system, or I will take them off my site. I don't want them to be there if they're not my most quality content. And you can also add notes for yourself. You know, I want to make this picture longer. I want to do X, Y, Z. I should make this into a resource. I should, make this into a product. So I think a blog post audit is a really great way to spend your workation. And a workation is just time that you spend on your business, like a weekend. Some other stuff that I'd recommend, and I'm going to stop sharing now. Some other stuff that I'd recommend for your workation. So what I typically do is I try and either just clear out the house or rent a hotel room for a day or 3 days, whatever it may be, and just take this workation. So doing a blog post audit would be a great way to go through your content and kind of help your brand stand out. You'll think of new product ideas. You'll think of ways to improve the post that already exists on your site, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing that you might do is develop a digital product or a free gift for your email subscribers during your workation. That's always fun. If you just spend 2-3 solid days focused on one particular digital product, that could be awesome. I know for those of you who have kids and real lives and other responsibilities, you're like 2 or 3 solid days, yeah, right. So maybe the workation is just about spending an hour or 2 or 3 hours, hopefully maybe in a day, to get some of those things done. So that's an idea for what you could do with your workation. And then lastly, I would go back and buffer your entire library of posts. So you probably have written more than one blog post in your time as a blogger or a creative business owner. So you could go back into your history of all the good blog posts you've ever written, all the resources you want to share, and then actually just buffer them out into the future. I would do for a whole year, maybe tweet stuff out, once a week or whatever for a whole year, just depending on how much content you have. If you want to go crazy with it, I know that sounds like insane, but it's a great way to make sure that not only not only other people's content is being shared, but that your own content is being shared. So then let me just answer these few questions over here on the side. So people are sharing some really cool resources over there for Twitter chats. Kalita shared a cool one, so you can check that out. So I have a question from Janelle McKenzie. She says, do you recommend going all out and buying your ideal blog template as a new blogger, or using an already made one at first and then putting the money in as you gain momentum? Oh my gosh, that's such a great question, Janelle. So I would go with the option you said of buying something that is suitable and functional at first, and not necessarily going all out. And I say this because I have had about 700,000 million blog ideas and have started half of them. If you looked at the domains that I own in Bluehost, you would judge me because I own a lot, because I had all these ideas, and I'll go buy the domain and like build half a site and then go, that's not really what I want to do with my life. At least that was my pattern until last year. Anyway, so what I would do is actually just invest anywhere from a free template to maybe 30, 45, 50, 60 bucks tops on something that looks nice, it's functional, does what you want it to do. Even with my blog, I was on like themes and templates and stuff like that that weren't custom just until a couple months ago. So I definitely would recommend that. It allows you to get it going much more quickly, save money, and just really make sure that the current idea that you're on is the one that you really want to invest in. And then I'd say just make your traffic goal a goal of certain number of visitors that you want per month before you buy yourself the really nice theme or work with a custom developer. Or maybe you set an income goal before you start that. If I can sell 5 products, then I'm going to go ahead and buy this for myself as a gift, okay? And so anyway, so let me grab any other questions over here on the side. Sorry. So Kalita says, how is your click to tweet? So cute. LOL, mine is just plain. That's adorable. So I make custom images for my click to tweets, you guys, when I'm sharing them. I use Photoshop personally, but I love Canva as well. Canva.com, like the word canvas without the S. So I love Canva to make items like that. So I would totally recommend just doing a custom item and then, you know, linking it to the click to tweet link. So I definitely would recommend that. And then I'm just checking for any more questions over here. You guys are so helpful with all these like tweets and, excuse me, these are not tweets, resources and stuff that you're sharing. Okay, so I can't, oh, wait, I do see one more. I'm sorry, Amber Christine. Do you ever develop sponsored content that isn't actually sponsored to attract working with other brands? Oh, you're such a genius. So I would totally do that. I have not personally done that, but that is something that I would completely do. I think that the one way, just really quickly, this is my last point, you guys. One way that you're really going to stand out to brands is by having amazing sponsored content that they can see. And I would really, y'all, mix it up and make it unique. You know, if you're going to work with a brand, you're going to want to either do a DIY, create a challenge based on their product, you know, get a collaboration going, make a video, make it really unique, incorporate it in your life over a certain amount of time. You know, my 15 days with XYZ, as opposed to like, oh, here's this thing that you can totally tell I'm being paid to talk about, and I used it once and I'm going to take one picture with it. Selfie. Yeah, guys, you should buy it. Those posts aren't as effective as like a DIY that you structured just around some particular sponsored content or brand. So Amber Christine, in answer to your question, I would totally create what would be a sponsored post. I would do it for free for some brand that you love. And then you'd be able to show that as an example of the type of work that you do when you're pitching other brands or when brands are kind of contacting you, okay? So I loved that question. If you have any other questions, you guys, I saw that you're helping each other out. It's so helpful. These are going to be here afterwards, so you can come check it out. If you have any other questions, please tweet me over on Twitter at @ByReginaTV. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope it was helpful. And keep in mind, if you're on my email friends list, you'll be getting 75 ways to help your brand stand out in your email. Okay, so I already emailed that link out, and it'll be up later today after I incorporate this video. Okay, so thank you so much. Regina out. Bye.